So let's get into that financial positioning. I bypassed it, but now let's do it. Okay. First of all, we need to know what our EFC is. Where are we going to land on that graph? Second, we need to understand what the college is going to do with that information and their math. Now, you can go find an online calculator to do your EFC. You can meet with us. We'll do it for you. We'll run that EFC, tell you where you fall on that graph, and tell you what a few colleges would net out at based on all of their data. So some of you may be able to affect your income and assets and push that number down. If you can, we can talk to you about how to do that and if it makes sense to do that. Doesn't always have that, families don't always have the ability to affect that EFC. If you're set on your colleges and you can't affect your EFC, then you just need to figure out how to pay for it all. And that is not in this workshop. That's actually workshop number 3 and 4 with Lance. So if you haven't watched those, put yourself on that webinar registration. Okay, tonight we are talking about EFCs and college selection. So when you know it and you understand it, then you have the power to maximize your free money and reduce that sticker price. So a couple of things. Your EFC is a number that's based on the income and the assets of you and your student. It is calculated when you complete the FAFSA form and the CSS form. So you're actually going to get 2 EFCs, and they're going to be 2 different EFCs. The CSS profile EFC is typically higher because it's asking for more information that goes into that calculation. And it is calculated every single year that your student is going to college. And then the other secret and the other part of the EFC is understanding what that college's stats are and how that all comes together. Okay, so I want to caution you first before we really dive into this. The EFC is the amount you're expected to pay to cover college costs, and this includes tuition, room and board, books, and other miscellaneous expenses. But it's not the exact amount you are going to pay for college. It's not going to be your college bill. Rather, it is a variable in an equation that the college has for their financial aid math that they determine your financial aid eligibility and how much they're going to be scholarshiping. Okay. Here's the math. Cost of attendance, that is that published sticker price of tuition and room and board and books and miscellaneous expenses. And then they're going to subtract your EFC. They're going to subtract any merit scholarships that they've already awarded you, and that equals your remaining financial aid eligibility or your quote unquote need. Now you're all going to go to financial aid night at your school, and there's going to be representatives from the colleges there, and someone in the audience is going to ask about aid, and the representative is going to say something like this. They're going to say, yes, we have money for students that need it. And you're all sitting there thinking, well, I need money for college. This is great. But what they're saying is this is the math that they do first, and then when there's need, they have money for that need. Okay. Let's dive a little deeper. What does all of this mean? Okay, if our EFCs are low, and remember it comes from income and assets on the financial aid forms. So let's say our EFC is $10,000. Okay, this is an in-state public school, it costs $30,000. They're going to subtract our EFC of 10. They're going to give us a merit award of 5. So we have a remaining eligibility of $15,000. So we qualify for $15,000 of financial aid. Let's take a high-priced private school. As scary as it is to look at those prices, don't be too scared until we do the math. So this school costs $80 minus 10 for our EFC, no merit, because that's not how they run their business, but that leaves us with $70,000 of remaining financial aid eligibility. Again, making the college selection the #1 secret to maximizing this free money and reducing our sticker price. Right. So what happens if you have a high EFC? Okay, if you have a high EFC and you're at that same public school that costs $30,000, they're going to subtract your EFC of 50 and then maybe give you a merit scholarship of 15, and we're not going to have any financial aid eligibility left over. Oh, well, right? Because they gave us $15,000, and 15,000 off of 30 is 15. So that's a great deal. Meanwhile, at a higher price private, we think, oh, we can do this. It's 80 minus our 50, no merit. Now we're only eligible for $30,000 of financial aid. Every school is going to treat our EFCs differently. Our EFC is going to stay the same across the board, but the cost of college is going to change, and the merit scholarships are going to change, and the net eligibility is going to change based on the colleges that we pick. Okay, so next steps. Now that we are going to know our EFCs going in and we understand the math, we need to get our hands on the college's aid and scholarship stats and run those numbers specifically for your family and your kiddo so you know what is coming down the pike. Okay, so let's look at some schools. I normally don't want to get hung up on names of schools, but we will in this segment of our presentation. So do the colleges that your student is looking at have money to give? So first, it's all about chasing the merit money as hard and fast as we can. Okay, Seattle Pacific has 33,000 on average, but they only give it to 5% of kids. University of Puget Sound, 24, but oh, they're giving it to 45% of students. Southern Methodist, Vanderbilt, Stanford. Stanford does not give merit money. That's just how they have chosen to operate. They only give need-based money. So this is why, where are we falling on that grid? If they're only giving need-based money, we absolutely have to be over in that exceptionally gifted part. Because if we're not there, everybody else is paying full price. Seattle Pacific, we need to be over there to get some. Everybody else is paying full price. These two schools, they're giving it to 40–45% of students, so we can drift a little bit over and probably still get these average numbers. But if we drift over to the left and we're in the exceptionally gifted compared to everyone else at that school, the average is now maybe we're getting above average awards. So it's all going to be relative to where we're at on that grid and how the colleges are operating. Okay, so we chase the merit money hard and fast, we get as much as we can, and then we figure out our need. Okay, again, every school is different. Some schools are going to meet a lower percentage of need, like this first one. And then the follow-up question is, okay, of my need that they meet, how much of that is free money, and then how much is loans? Because those loans we're going to have to pay back. The grants, the scholarships, those we don't ever have to pay back, but the loans we do. Or if it's a work-study job, then our kids have to work for that paycheck. So how much gets covered is very different at different schools and universities, right? And so here's the Stanford. They're like, we are absolutely going to help everyone that needs it by our math. We're just not going to do merit money because we're Stanford. If you want to come here, then we're Stanford. You can come. All right, and I'm seeing questions in the chat, and that's great. Okay, let's go back to the graph. I'm going to bring this back again and again. This, my friends, is why college selection is so critical on how to maximize the free money and reduce that sticker price on college. Because when you can live over here on the left side of the grid, when your students are at the front of the pack, you will have the best opportunities to maximize that free money and reduce that sticker price. So no matter where you're at, if you're pushing this way, financial positioning, student positioning, collectively pushing in this direction, we are maximizing that free money and reducing the sticker price of college.